And welcome to Wrassle Cast with myself, Pete the Metalhead, and my ever-lovely co-host...
Me, LVD Dark Fat Raven. Now, before we do anything else in this cast, we've got to say that we have changed this podcast. We are now going to be Wrassle Cast, the pay-per-view cover one. So we're just going to be covering pay-per-views, the main pay-per-views, and any main issues in Raw and SmackDown that revolves around the pay-per-view of that upcoming month, if that makes sense. So we're not going to be going through hang on 2 seconds. Our usual Raw and SmackDown reviews. We're going to skim those and go straight to the pay-per-view. And this week's pay-per-view was Money in the Bank 2014. And also, my birds are with me today, and hopefully they're not making too much noise. Shut up. Right, so yeah. Right, so probably shouldn't have hit that really loud. So before we start off, how are you?
I'm not too bad, sir. It's been a nice break since we had the last podcast. We've had
got a little bit overwhelming, a little bit kind of, I need to take a break because I've been taking months for pretty much 6 months, so it got a little bit, but it felt good to finally have a break from it, so it's alright here, it's quite hot as it is in the UK, and obviously the World Cup and all that stuff, so let's move on.
Is the World Cup still actually on? I don't know, because England seemed to have stopped talking about it the second we lost.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's still on, we've got the quarterfinals on Friday, Germany and France, but it's nearly coming to an end, so all you football fans can either cry, boo, murder a cat, whatever you do, when it's over. So, wait, shush. Right. Okay, so we're going to go through the Raws and SmackDowns, just skimming the main notes. So the first Raw, if I can get rid of that Skype thing, thank you very much. The first Raw will be, where is it? Hang on, let me just find it. Where is it? Will be the 10th of June 2014. I'm really sorry about these birds. Hang on. Wait, please be quiet. Right. So 10th of June 2014. The main notes, obviously, in this started off with the Authority come out, show video Daniel Bryan's doctor, basically confirmed that he will not be ready for Money in the Bank, which was obvious to anyone, really, that he was not going to be ready in time. Yeah. So that Money in the Bank will have a WWE World Title match and also a contract match as well. And we've already seen the Motor Career qualified. Triple H says that automatically Randy Orton is automatically qualified as well, because, Golden Child and all that. So, hang on, shush. He goes on to say the Wyatts will take on the Shield and hopefully they'll find a tag team partner. So that was the opening of Raw. Sheamus vs Bad News Barrett is shown for a qualifying match. It doesn't really matter with Bad News because he gets injured anyway thanks to Botch and Swagger. We had the Money in the Bank qualifying match between Sheamus and Bad News Barrett. Obviously Sheamus won, so he went through. The Shield bashed living fuck out of 3MB in the ring, and indeed goes on the mic saying he's going to cripple Seth and all the other thing. But 3MB aren't together anymore, so that kind of sucks. Yeah, it kind of sucks. Yeah. Well, yeah, 2 of them got released, didn't they? So yeah,
shitloads happens in a month, doesn't it? Because the Shield break up and 3MB are out the fucking case.
Yeah, Shield good breaking up though. They broke up Shield well. They've kind of feuded Dean and Seth, and then getting Roman to go solo on his own, so they've done it well. So anyway, we had another Money in the Bank qualifying match, which was RVD versus Cesaro. Cesaro won. Didn't matter anyway because RVD went in the briefcase run, so Cesaro won. Michael Cole interviews Seth that night, asked to know why he did. He just goes on and says he did what was best for business and some other shit. I wasn't really paying attention. And then that he wanted Dean and Roman to come down, but then the White Shark and attack them. So that was all that happened on Raw. The main points, I must say that.
Yeah. Stop.
Yeah.
You there, man?
Did you hear that?
Yeah, you cut out completely. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's just some really there's just some really, really bad noise that keeps going over. I don't know what it is. Hang on. I've only got 2 things running, the Skype, so there's nothing. I don't know what it is. Hang on, let me just readjust my headset in the back and see whether it might have come loose or something. Hang on, right, move that. Just I can hear this really bad No, it's not all the time, but sometimes it pops up. So, okay, right. Can you hear me now? Right? Yeah, is that all right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, we're gonna keep going. See if we can get through to this. Right. Okay. Start. Okay. So we move on to sorry about that technical problem. So we move back to SmackDown, which is on the 13th of June 2014. Not many notes to contain about this because obviously SmackDown isn't filled with chock-a-block loads of like goodness. Shield starts off. Shield come out. They do a quick promo saying of how they all win this soon and they're going to still bash Seth one way or the other. This is when Dean and Roman were still together. They're not together obviously anymore. Triple H goes on the screen and says it's got 2 spots left for the Money in the Bank left, and neither one of them are going in it. He then flips a coin and says that Dean has won and he's going up against Bray Wyatt. If he can win against Bray Wyatt, then he will go into the Money in the Bank. Roman gets to face Bad News Barrett, and now with Roman away from ringside, Triple H also says Wyatt family are banned from ringside too. So we have the qualifying match between Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt, and of course, obviously, Bray Wyatt wins. That match was actually pretty good. Not actually going to talk onto that, but yeah, that match was pretty good. Do you want to now move on to the 16th of June 2014? Do you want to talk about that, or do you want me to keep going?
No, I got notes here myself for it. Was it? Oh yeah, the Authority come out and all the superstars stand on the stage and what? Pardon?
No, sorry, I was saying.
Oh, right.
Show's going to work, so
yeah. The Authority, like they come out. Yeah, superstars are all there on the stage. A shot they've done about 15 times this year already. Fair enough, one of them for the Ultimate Warrior thing, so I can't fault him for that one. Yeah, Triple H goes on. All of them will get a shot. And they'll make it in the last 2 spots for for the Money in the Bank match for the for the title, that is.
Yep.
So at this point they still haven't announced an actual Money in the Bank match. It's just on the title. So they have a big battle royale, and whoever wins will go into the Money in the Bank match for the title. And he goes on to say that everyone is in, but he basically says Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, as you said on SmackDown, is you guys ain't going in. Fuck off.
Do not.
Yeah. Yeah, and he says, John Cena's not in the Battle Royal either, because he says, you're going to face the Demon Kane, the Demon Kane in a stretcher match. For a chance to get in the Money in the Bank title match. And I was like, ooh, I wonder how this is going to turn out.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I'll stop being sarky. But this was a strange Raw because they actually had some backstage segments for a change. Roman Reigns, he's backstage, and Vicky Guerrero's getting some coffee for Steph and Triple H, even though it looks like Coke in plastic cups for some reason. And and then Roman Reigns is like, "Hey Vicky, you should turn around for some reason and look over there for a minute," and then
look over there.
You don't see what happens where he just messes around with the cups. So you can't, and then she takes it off to Steph and Tripp, and then Steph drinks the coffee during an interview and whatnot.
Throws up everywhere, doesn't she?
Yeah, violent exorcist vomit. It was just bloody insane.
It really was. I don't know what they used for the vomit, but they just ended up throwing it all down. Oh my god! First she gets thrown into a mud thingy, and then she gets vomited on. It's just it's funny.
Yeah. Well, apparently the head writer for WWE got fired the previous Friday. So I think Vince had his fucking fingerprints all over the episode. That's why he's he was laughing his ass off violent vomiting. We should have this.
Yeah.
And then, basically after the vomiting occurs, throws a ball to Vicky Guerrero. She goes to Roman Reigns goes to Vicky, say, "Hey, they're probably going to fight you next week. Why not put me in that battle royale?" And which is a retarded leap of logic, writing-wise. It's but she goes, fuck it, go on, get yourself in that battle royale, Reigns. Which, I don't want to skip ahead to that because that's near the end. But
that was the main thing. Happened due to the course of that. Basically, that was Roman getting himself into the Battle Royal. So.
And after that, wasn't there a match made for the tag titles? It was the Usos versus the Wyatts, wasn't it?
There was. There was a match made. I'm not sure if this was made then. I got a little bit confused, but there was a match made, the Usos versus the Wyatts for the tag team titles. I'm not sure if it was made on this Raw. It might have been made at a later date for SmackDown. So I'm sorry if I got that wrong. But but there was a tag team title made. Yep. There was.
Yeah, and then we have the Battle Royale for the thing, and it was actually a really good Battle Royale.
It's not a bad one, and
then, guess who wins? Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns! Yeah!
Yeah, I mean, Triple H rules, but Roman Reigns. Oh God!
Oh
I'm
God!
sorry.
Yeah.
I read that from the picture. Sorry.
Yes, I saw that. I saw like a Spanish one as well, something like Roman Reigns in Spain or some shit. I was like, what the hell?
So Roman Reigns goes over in that, and then John Cena versus John Cena versus the Demon Kane in a stretcher match.
A stretcher match, and obviously John Cena wins. Yeah, that stretcher match wasn't too bad considering it wasn't the best stretcher match of all time, but yeah, it wasn't too bad. So
it was alright till Cena won.
Yeah. So we move on to SmackDown, the 20th of June, the 20th of June. Now, I was hungover for this one, so I was watching it like really badly hungover. So I've literally nothing really happened on this SmackDown because it's true that nothing really did happen to promote Money in the Bank. One thing that happened was John Cena cut a promo, and most of the people in Money in the Bank match come out, and then they, other than Bray Wyatt and Roman and Orton, attack each other, and then everyone attacks one else. So yeah, pretty much they're one of those typical things, you know, where they all come out. They say, well, you know what, fella, I'm going to win, and then they all come out one by one like they do for the Royal Rumble, and they all just attack each other. So that was the only good thing I could see that happened on the 20th. Move forward to the 23rd of Raw of June 2014. Excuse me. A photo has shown that Triple H will say that others that will be joining Seth Rollins in the Money in the Bank contract match. Now, what I didn't write is that on main event before this Raw, Seth Rollins did a promo saying that there is going to be a contract match for Money in the Bank, and he is the first participant. So I didn't put that down. I should have done, but I didn't. So on this Raw, it said that Triple H was going to come out and say all the other people that are going to be in the thing. We didn't have a qualifying for this one. Triple H just literally named them all literally like that. So. Stephanie versus Vicky Vicky versus Stephanie McMahon is set up, and Vicky needs to win to save her job, which was again quite a little funny scene. Shows that Money in the Bank kickoff will be Daniel Bryan, which he was doing a promo, which was rather disappointing, a little bit worrying that promo was. Triple H comes out, goes on the mic and says that the other people joining Seth Rollins in the Money in the Bank contract will be obviously Mr. Kofi Kingston, because obviously he's in everything. If we need a mid-card job and needs to do something, we put Kofi Kingston in it. Jack Swagger, RVD, Dolph Ziggler, and I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you. And unfortunately, there was bad news for Blade Barrett, as in he didn't make it into the match. Vicky and Steph have their match. Vicky comes out to Eddie Guerrero's theme song, and my God, I had goosebumps when that happened because it was so good to hear. Viva la raza!
It certainly had feels.
Yeah, them feels, man, you know, them feels. So she comes out. It wasn't an actual match in the ring like Vicky thought. It was a mud pool match. Stephanie has these two Diva goons come down. I think one of them was Asana and Alicia Fox. Asana not with WWE anymore. They try and throw. They have the most piss poor job ever trying to throw Vicky, and they just pick her up already, and then they just stop as soon as they get there, and then somehow Vicky's not even struggling, and then she just somehow just like, oh, I get out, and then basically throw them in, and then basically she celebrates with yes, and Stephanie throws Vicky into this mud, which looks like caramel, to be honest. Stephanie sings na 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 na, and then basically Vicky throws Stephanie into the thing. And that, what was funny about that was the referee was trying to help her. He ends up pulls her in like 3 or 4 times, which was like, oh, that was funny. So that was Raw done. We move on to the last SmackDown before Money in the Bank. Last SmackDown before Money in the Bank, which is the 27th of June 2014. I'm sure there'll be probably an annotation on the screen saying what dates of which Raw there is. I'm sure if Jack remembers to put it in. We had Bray Wyatt versus Sheamus and the Usos, and Eric and Luke was outside. Luke ending the match in DQ. Usos attack Eric and Luke with a brawl, which went out of the ring. Basically, this promoted their tag team match, which was actually one of the best matches at Money in the Bank, believe it or not. Bad News Barrett ends up with a shoulder injury after Jack Swagger throws him twice into the barrier. It was just a dislocated shoulder from what I was told, but apparently, according to him, he's going to be out for a few months, and his title gets vacated for Battleground, but we're not going to talk about that just yet. Seth Rollins attacks Steen after his match with Bad News. Roman Reigns versus Kane ends in ODQ, which was the main event. Randy interrupts right before Roman Reigns spears Kane. Reigns spears Orton instead. Kane chokeslammed Reigns and sets up the ladder, which allowed Orton to climb up and pose with grabbing the title. Also goes to punt Reigns, but obviously gets speared by Orton as he goes to do it. Kane also gets speared, and Reigns poses for ending SmackDown. So obviously Roman Reigns ended on a high note at the end of SmackDown, making people think, okay, he's going to go over, So yeah. So we move on to Money in the Bank 2014. Right. Right. Before we do this, offhand. Alright, cool. So, we come to Money Back 2014. Right, now, this pay-per-view was actually not so bad, to be honest. I had a few problems with some of the matches, but if I was being honest, I probably would have given this about a 6 out of 10, to be honest. It was probably no more than that, and definitely no lower. What about you? Same, higher, lower?
I give it a 6 out of 10, but it's more of a case of I was a bit more pissed off with the pay-per-view. Mainly because, the main reason everyone got pissed off with the main event, because we'll go into that later. But there was the pacing of it as well, because it started off really well, and then we get to the Money in the Bank ladder match, the actual contract match, and it was a really decent match. It was, as you and me have discussed outside the podcast, it was lacking in a bit of spots here and there, but it was still really entertaining, and then it kind of loses momentum by just having like a lot of big card matches after that, and then and then by the time the second one comes around, it's like you don't give a shit anymore, you know what I mean? But that was me personally.
True. But, I felt it kind of lacked a few spots in the last Money in the Bank ladder match. I felt like it didn't have enough ladder spots in it. I felt it was more, the ladders were kind of inappropriate and felt it was a little bit, no one really shined at all in that match. It felt a little bit of a shambles. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Right, so the kickoff was Daniel Bryan coming out and giving an update. Now, this was good and bad news. Unfortunately, he says that his arm's not fully healed and his doctor's about talking about having another surgery. And this is where he starts to get worried now. He's having a second surgery after his first surgery went well. I'm starting to think that maybe he might be going down Edge's Road a little bit here. It might be very too soon to say for this, but I'm hoping he doesn't go down Edge's Road and he doesn't have to retire due to next surgery. So he just says that. Bo Dallas comes out. Fuck knows why Bo Dallas comes out. So Bo Dallas comes out and says, I'm sorry you're not in the match tonight, but if you just leave, you can chump his shit, and then he tells him to leave as in get out, and that was about it. Yeah. So, yeah.
I was laughing my ass off to it, really, because I've not been the biggest liker of Bo Dallas since he came onto the main roster. Not disliked him either, but his gimmick's just not really gelled with me until, last week. For some reason, I just got really fucking... Yeah, really into it and laughed my ass off. When he's facing Titus O'Neil, as I call him.
Yeah.
And then he's getting on the mic and he's like, "Hey, Titus, you just gotta get back on that horse." And Titus slaps the mic out of his hand, and he just runs over, picks it up, like, "Oh, silly me, butterfingers."
Oh, sorry, that's my phone. Did he actually drop that?
No. Titus proper slapped it out of his fucking hand.
Oh, did he? Oh, yeah, I thought he actually dropped the thing and botched it.
Yeah, I'm just starting to, and now I'm starting to fucking put ball puns wherever I can, for shits and giggles.
It's not a terrible gimmick. But it's it's one of those gimmicks that takes a bit of time to get used to. It's like
with Bad News Barrett, that took me months to get.
Yeah, that's it. I didn't like that at first. I thought it was a terrible gimmick. I thought they were ruining him. But now I love Bad News Barrett, and I'm going to order his new T-shirt when I got the money too. But it took me a bit of time to get used to Bad News Barrett as well. Yeah, exactly. Same here.
So having Brian out there, and then Bo Dallas come out, it's like, hey, your neck will heal up. You just got to believe, and then he's like, you sound like a boner. And then I just laughed my ass off.
So we move on. The start of the pay-per-view was the Wyatts versus the Usos for the tag team titles, and it's going to sound like I'm climaxing this match, because this match was probably, in my opinion, one of the best matches of the night, if not probably the best match of the night, because the Money in the Bank match was so disappointing. This match was fucking fantastic. It was the Wyatts came at this match so well. They were dominating for most of the match. Then it was the Wyatts, and then it was the Usos. I got a little bit of the match, what I've written down. I'll go through that a little bit like I usually do, because I write down near enough all the little details on the match anyway, and not just opinionate. But it was a fantastic match. Great workers from the Usos. There goes my phone again. Great work from the Usos. Great work from the Wyatts. It felt like the Usos come on a little bit stronger during this match. It felt like they were doing everything they could to take the Wyatts down. There was what was that?
Just drop something.
Okay, it felt like the Wyatts did so many good moves, to keep them down. The momentum kept changing back and forth. It was a fantastic match. The crowd was shouting, "This is awesome." at one point, and I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm glad the crowd's shouting, this is awesome, because here are 4 guys that know how to work so well together, how to put on great matches. And you look at those Uso super kicks sometimes, it looks so brutal sometimes when they do that. And a number of times Luke genuinely looks like he's taking it right on the chin, if the beard wouldn't cushion it, but he looks like he's generally taking it like, bow, literally like right on the chin. So yeah, I mean, I think you agree, don't you? You agree with me that this match
was it? Didn't I can't remember correctly, but didn't Luke Harper do a super kick at one point as well? I
think he did. He did a running big boot. You think which nearly got it. He did 2 suicide dives outside the ring. So I must indicate they did come out with a theme song as well. Last time they come out with "He's got the whole wide world," and literally in that voice. But they came out to an actual song this time, which is quite good. Dark, obviously it was dark, and everyone with the old cell phones out. You can tell who's got a smartphone when you do that. So yeah, so obviously the Wyatt start dominating the start. Usos coming back, fighting hard. Oh fuck me. Luke hits a running big boot on one of the Usos, but it isn't enough for the win. Usos gain momentum. Jimmy or Jay hits 2 super kicks on Luke, but he still kicks out. You could tell, look on Usos' face was, how are we going to keep them down? Usos jump on Eric outside the ring, but Luke gets him back in the ring. They go for a double team on the Uso, but the other Uso super kicks Luke. Luke hits a double power bomb at that point, and it kicks out. I'm not going to go through it all completely because it's just boring, but yeah, it was just awesome. They end up hitting a double team move, power bomb on one of the Usos. The other Uso breaks that up. It's like, So the end spot was basically the Usos. For some reason, Eric Rowan went for a body splash, but he gets double suplexed off the top rope, and 2 Uso splashes get hit on him, and then they get the win. So yeah, good match, good working, fantastic working, easily. In my opinion, easily at least a 9.5 out of 10. I'd give that match to a 9 because it was on the edge of your seat. It's a shame it started out so well and then kind of went downhill after that, So there we go. So yeah, obviously Dean Ambrose cuts a promo, basically quickly saying that he's going to win and that he's going to basically bash Seth and just didn't really care about Money in the Bank. It more seemed like he was just all about kicking Seth's ass.
So he just couldn't decide. It's like when he climbs the ladder, it's like, does he go for the briefcase or do I smash your face? What do I do? Case or face? Case or face?
Or face. There goes my phone again. Case or face.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking cool. I mean, like, to the point where Michael Cole kept repeating it, like, throughout the night. It's like, he kept, like Dean Ambrose said, is he gonna go case or face? We'll find out.
Well, I'll cover the next one. You can go after that. So we move on to second match tonight, which is Naomi versus Paige. Am I saying that right? Naomi? Yeah, Naomi. Or the Funkadactyls. Now, this match wasn't actually too bad. This match was probably, I'd say, at least a minimum of at least a 6, 7 out of 10 for this match, because Naomi, in my opinion, and not many people are going to agree with, I think she's quite a talented wrestler, Naomi. I think she's definitely better than Cameron, and she's always been a talented Naomi. And she's facing off against Paige, 2 talented wrestlers again. It was mostly Naomi dominated for most of this match. She tried her hardest to keep Paige down. She threw out the ring sometime. Paige locks in some kind of weird, like, leg hold submission or something. I don't really know what that was. Kind of like she was giving her some of DDP's yoga, to be honest. Cameron's outside. She turned heel last week. She's all like, oh, look at my nails whenever Naomi's in control and shit like that. So, Paige comes back, beats her down, goes into obviously that weird submission. Naomi puts her in a submission. Paige doesn't tap either. Which is obviously more back and forth action. Naomi getting closer and closer to that victory as she does that running like ass hit. Naomi goes for the finisher, which I'm assuming is a reverse DDT drop. Paige counters it into a lifting DDT. Now, this hurts so much. And obviously Paige gets the win. And obviously Cameron outside is going ecstatic about it. But this was not a bad match for a Divas match. It's our second Divas match of the night, ironically. To be honest, I actually forgot about the Fandango match, to be honest. And I can't believe I didn't even bother reviewing that, to be honest, because I just couldn't be asked. Because it was short. I just couldn't be asked with it. So, but yeah, Paige Naomi, good match. It wasn't too bad. We move on to a promo of the numbers, a bit like the Royal Rumble they do, like 4 is the number of times people have cashed in. 6 times, the number of people who have won Money in the Bank. No one cared, I went for a pee break, I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, so, yeah. If you take 33 and a third. The amount of chances that Scott Steiner has to win the match.
Yeah, it's just like, it got really into graphic detail, didn't it? Like zero, isn't it? Royal Rumble was bad enough, and then they actually went So right.
John Cena has never lost a Money in the Bank ladder match before. It's like, oh great, thanks for giving us the preview there and whatnot.
Yep, that's true. Right, so we'll break into the third match. This match was thrown, obviously, out of the blue, so go on, discuss the next one. It wasn't actually good, but go on, discuss.
Well, Damien Sandow comes out because they're in Boston, Massachusetts. Boston. If you know your history from, Assassin's Creed 3. History from Assassin's Creed 3, then, Boston's like, the birthplace of America, practically, and whatnot, or at least for American politics, blah, blah, blah. And Sandow comes out in his George Washington Carver outfit, or it was some big bloody American historical figure during the British invasion and whatnot. And he comes out like ha ha ha, like I'm the crier, blah blah blah. And Adam Rose comes out and it's
Sorry.
I was kind of I was saying about Bo Dallas and whatnot.
Yeah.
I didn't like his gimmick first, but it grew on me. Adam Rose's gimmick I kind of liked at first, and now it's losing its thing.
It's kind of weird though, he's coming dressed out like Willy Wonka now. He's like kind of wearing like the big white glasses and hat, and I say Willy Wonka because if anyone's seen the Willy Wonka remake with Johnny Depp, you'll notice that he wore exactly the same glasses. And he's wearing those glasses now. I don't think it's a Willy Wonka reference, but I don't know. It's just, I like Adam Rose, I always will. I think he's a talented wrestler. I like the gimmick until probably when it will die out in a couple of months' time, but he is coming dressed out like Wonka. So yeah,
they're definitely not going to get Adam Rose the wrestler. It's just the gimmicks. I wouldn't say where it fit for me. It's just not got the same impact out when it started. But anyway, that's enough.
Fair enough. That's an opinion.
But very short match. It was an okay job match. It was. Yeah. I thought David Sandow had a good couple of spots.
Yeah, Sandow dominates most of this match actually.
I was just quite surprised. He yells out, "Was like, Mike, the elbow is coming. The elbow is coming."
It's going. That was funny.
Reference to the invasion, like the British are coming. And then then he starts getting some crowd reaction, like they're going and he takes his jacket off, and then he does a flip off the top rope.
He misses it.
And then Adam Rose takes advantage.
Hits with the face buster, which is a good move. But yeah, Sandow dominated most of that match. It's good to see him actually talented. But yeah, obviously Adam Rose gets the win. Obviously, as Jack says, tries to do a moonsault and misses. So yeah,
it's an okay job match,
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I mean, that's what Sandow is now, basically a jobber. He came out on Raw dressed as someone I'm not going to say because we won't be discussing that just yet. Well, actually, no, it's not a main point, actually. Yeah, he comes out dressed as Mr. McMahon. And actually no, it is a little actually, because the next pay-per-view's Battleground, and that promo has something a little bit to do with Battleground. So actually no, I'll keep quiet. But yeah, he comes out just Mr. McMahon. So we move on very swiftly to the first Money in the Bank contract match. And we'll see only 6 people in this match. We saw Seth, RVD, Swagger, Ziggler, and Dean Ambrose. We didn't have bad news because obviously he was injured due to Frank Swagger. Personally, I think they should find Swagger or maybe get rid of him. I mean, he's an okay wrestler, but I mean, he crippled Ziggler like last year or a few months back, whenever it was, and now he's crippled. Now he's crippled Bad News. He seems like he needs to go back to the training center or something, and work on something, because he just keeps doing stuff that injuring people. But anyway, I suppose that's for another time. So yeah, I'm not going to go through every match. When I write down my notes, I usually go through every point in the match just so I can look back and say what happened during the match. But I'm not going to discuss everything in this match. But this match was okay. This match was only be a 6-star out of 10 at most to me, because it had some good spots, but I didn't feel like it lived up to the past Money in the Bank matches. I don't know why. It was good. There was a lot of non-stop action in this. It started off really well. It started off with Dean going straight away for Seth Rollins. They were pretty much on each other all the time. It was filled with some good ladder stuff. We saw a zigzag on it. Seth Rollins backflips onto the other one. A tipsy-turvy ladder. Cena gets suplex onto one. A super kick for one. So we did see quite a lot of stuff. Now, before I talk about what happened in the match, was Seth Rollins the right person to win that match? I'm going to answer it with two words. Fuck yes. Seth Rollins was definitely the right person to win no matter what. Now, I'm going to go on a little bit to complain. I'm going to complain, or people complain about why John Cena won a little bit later. But now, I don't think Seth Rollins really is ready just yet to be a champion. And I don't even know if he's going to cash in a win or not. But that's begged to be to see. But if you think about it, everyone else in that match, the only other candidate could have been Dean Ambrose to win. And obviously, I've read a little bit about reports that he might be maybe getting a title shot a little bit later on in the year. So, when Dee Bryan comes back, or if Cena or Brock Lesnar has it by then, doesn't matter. So, it was never going to be RVD. It was never going to be Swagger. It was never going to be Ziggler, as much as I really wanted it to be. And it was never going to be a Kofi. I mean, All Money in the Bank really is about pushing the young talent upwards. And I think Seth Rollins was the right person. Amazingly talented wrestler. Great gimmick. Good gimmick he's doing now. He really was the right person. And ever since he put himself in the Money in the Bank, I was saying to myself, yeah, he's definitely going to win. There's no doubt he's going to win, so... Yeah. Do you think he was the right person? Did you want him to win?
I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure what but probably in a storyline sense, Dean Ambrose, because I always root for the good guy, even though, Dean Ambrose is the good guy in this situation. Just barely, he's more of an anti-hero, should I say.
Yeah.
But actually, I suppose between, if anything, probably Ziggler, maybe. It's a toss-up between me, Ambrose, Ziggler, and RVD. But I knew RVD was never going to win it because he's part-time, or, he's never going to get a big push again ever. Just keep rolling him out every few months and shit. Ziggler, I think he deserved a shot at it at least, but that was unfortunate not to be. And Ambrose, well, cause the most interesting part of the match was the Seth Rollins Dean Ambrose storyline, which was
which is going actually really well, and he actually suplexes him off as well, the ladder, which was a really awesome. Good spot. So
if you've seen like the alternate angles of that, it's in like a GIF, but it's just what King calls the Wile E. Coyote cam. Looking directly down the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks pretty cool from most other angles. From that angle, it looks fucking deadly.
Brutal, doesn't it? Yeah. Especially when he flips when he lands as well.
Yeah.
So we see Seth. Basically, the whole match was good. It was done out quite well. We see let's go through some spots. We see boom drop, one on the ladder, a double under suplex did to Seth from Dean on the ladder. Swagger does a swagger bomb to Kofi under the ladder. Ziggler hits a zigzag onto the ladder. RVD kicks the ladder into someone's face. Spinning heel kicks it onto Thingy. My phone keeps going off because I'm actually needed somewhere. But fuck it, podcast is coming first. I need to talk to this sexy bastard and you sexy people. So I don't know why Swagger did the Swagger bomb when the ladder was onto him, because that was more painful to him. Swagger powerbombed RVD off of it. Seth, obviously the most brutal thing of all time, he flipped onto that midway ladder which was up, and oh my god, it wasn't even a landing, it was then he slid down the ladder and then bashed his head on the other ladder as he went down. Kudos to Seth for that. Thank you, Seth. Thank you for going through that for our entertainment, because my damn, I mean, if I see that written down on the script, I sure as hell wouldn't have wanted done that, you know what I mean? So, they do more fighting. Dean, somehow, I'm going to quote marks this, damages his shoulder, and I don't know if this is real or not. The doctors go up to him, like the same doctor did when he went open to bust him Randy Orton, but he seems to have damaged his shoulder. All he did was ram into the ladder, and I'm not sure whether this was real or not, because he disappears, and then he comes back later. Do you think that was, storyline, or do you think you think it was storyline?
Well, personally, I think it's storyline. I've not read anywhere online that he's been injured or anything like that.
True.
Yeah, I think it was just basically the authority, getting
Dean
Ambrose. Get the EMT, forcing the EMTs to take him backstage so that he can't compete anymore. So take him out the game, so to speak. And then he obviously comes back and shit, because it was a generally serious injury. They probably wouldn't have let him come back out again.
Saying that, Terry Funk came back out. That's Terry Funk. Also Seth Rollins rams the ladder into Ziggler's head as well in the end, which looked like that as well. So that was later on. So Dean disappears. He comes back a little bit later. We see a ladder which got slid in the middle and then got basically tipped on its side, and two people flying on top of that. That was actually pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Sheamus ends up hanging from it as well, which did look quite brutal. Even from the Wile E. Coyote cam, that looked pretty brutal as well. Just goes to go how much these wrestlers take in these sort of matches, you know. Oh, it's all fake and that. Yeah, you know, but still, it may be a scripted, watered down, fucking, soap opera, but you know, I can guarantee you they still get hurt. Well, of course they still get hurt doing this. It's a stupid thing to say. Seth takes out Ziggler. Seth goes to the face. Dean Ambrose comes running back and takes him out of the chair. He's battered him. Dean goes for the case. This is the end spot. Of course, the fireworks go off, and here comes the demon, Kane. Kane takes Dean off the ladder, chokeslams him, tombstones him as well, holds the ladder for Seth. Seth goes up and becomes Mr. Money in the Bank. So it was alright. It was quite good, that match, I will admit. It had a hell of a lot more spots in that than the first one did. But obviously there was a bigger prize at stake. But yeah, that wasn't too bad, that match. I wouldn't say it was the best Money in the Bank match ever, but I wouldn't have said it was the worst. So, you know, we have to take our lumps as they are. So yeah. Do you? Alright, you wanna go? What's the fifth match?
It's Goldust and Stardust. As I call them, the Dust Brothers.
Dust Brothers, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they call that later on.
I wouldn't be surprised if that name catches on, but who knows. But yeah, Goldust and Stardust versus Wrassle in obviously a tag team match. No, nothing at stake really, but obviously past few months, Wrassle have been, beating the shit out of like Goldust and Cody Rhodes. And then Cody Rhodes says, "Right, I'm not the tag team partner for you, Goldust," and then tries to pair him off with a bunch of other people, and it just doesn't work out. And then out of nowhere, it's like, this new guy comes in. I don't know who he is, obviously. It's definitely not Cody Rhodes.
It was quite hard to tell, wasn't it? Really,
that'd be silly if it was just Cody Rhodes and makeup, because that just wouldn't.
I was kind of thinking it might have been the Great Khali, but I suppose they ruled that one out.
I'll stop being a sacky twat. Basically, yeah. It was fucking round out match because at this point I think they'd only wrestled once. I'm not including SmackDown there because I've not been too caught up with SmackDown this month, you see. But I've only seen them wrestle one match on Raw, and that was the debut of Stardust, and that was an okay match for Raw. And then this one was actually a really good tag team match, and for once, at last, the Dust Brothers finally go over. Cody as Stardust, I mean, his character in ring is just fucking brilliant. I read a theory online, somebody said, like, he must have been working on this for quite a few months, Cody, because there's no way they just, all the mannerisms he's got and whatnot, there's no way they could have just slapped this together at the last minute, So, so they obviously must have been thinking about this for a while now, and he's been practicing and shit, because, everything he did in the ring was just really brilliant. It just reminds of proper like old school Goldust from like late 90s and shit. Not that current Goldust isn't bad. And I think the best part as well, finally Goldust has had some fucking interview time, and for the first time this year, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And they finally be doing like the funny promos and shit, which Goldust is known for. Cody come out like singing "When You Wish Upon a Star," all weird and creepy like, and then buggering off, and then like Goldust going, "Well, now I'm the normal one."
That was a good promo. He's done that quite a few times where the lights go off. Okay, basically a little intel into Stardust was, at first I dismissed this because I thought, okay, right, Cody was already dead in the water anyway, a little bit with this tag team. It had been kind of running thing, Goldust and Cody Rhodes. It seemed like the sort of thing that maybe they needed to end it and give everyone what they wanted, which was the Cody versus Goldust scene. So they make him into Stardust. Now the plan is, and again this could change, the plan is, what I've read is that they're going to do it for a few months, the Stardust thing, and if he doesn't go over before SummerSlam, then we're going to basically get Cody Rhodes versus Goldust like everyone wants. But if Stardust does go over, then obviously they're going to keep him. Now personally, I think Cody's doing a good job at Stardust, I personally think he's been doing it really well in the ring. That's that's what his wife said. I think it's a little bit of a weird gimmick, I'm not going to lie, but at the end of the day it works, and if it gets them to be an interesting tag team, then that's going to work too. So we're going to see how far it goes. Ryback also to know that Curtis Axel was also in a singlet as well, which he looked fucking odd in that. And luckily when he comes out on Raw the week after, he's not in seeing that anymore, so thank God. But Ryback is another team that's going a little bit wary on me, going a little bit thin, but I mean, I'm hoping they'll capture the tag team titles, maybe just after the Wyatts do at some point. So yeah, so that'll be interesting to see.
Oh yeah, you noticed as well during the match, Ryback chant started. Well, not Ryback himself, but his old catchphrase, "Feed me more."
Yeah.
And he was getting into it as well. He was like yelling out like, "I still got it, yeah!" And then goes into it. It's like because I wasn't watching when he had this big push that everyone kept talking about. It's like, did he really have this big push? Because I've only ever seen him as this tag team jobber guy. And and I look back and I was like, oh shit, yeah, he was a fucking.
Ryback. Ryback had he did have a big push, and he started doing the which is where he started being a bully, and then they brought out the Be a Star campaign, so it was a little bit kind of hypocritical, really, a little bit ironic, it's just like, Ryback starts bullying people, and then he's like, it's like, don't be a bully, be a star, and then they show that, and then they show a picture, they show a promo straight after of Ryback being a bully, that was a little bit like with the Vladimir Putin thing that you mentioned, like a couple of podcasts about, so WWE can put their foot in it, and I've met Ryback, I met him at, and He's actually, ironically, he's actually quite a decent person to get on with, he's actually quite a lovely person to get on with. So let's move on. To agree with Jack's comments, it was actually quite a good, what the hell was that? It was actually quite a good comment. I think someone just shouted, it was actually quite a good match. They always have a good match, these two, when they go off. I mean, like, when they have a tag team match, it's usually quite full of back and forth solid work in between all of them. So, the end was a bit cheesy. Stardust gets a roll out of victory. But, I mean, other than that, it was your average match. I think they were just trying to kill time, really. So they just slung together a tag team match, So there we go. So we move on. We moved dilly on to Rusev versus Big E, and my God, in my opinion, this again was another good match. This was, I thought this was worked really fucking well. It might have been a little bit of a short match, and we might have not got the victory everyone wanted it to be, but in my opinion, I thought this was a really good match. Very well worked, very good solid working. So it was back and forth action from both, but obviously Big E dominated pretty much most of this match. Trying to keep Rusev down with belly-to-bellies, kicks, and he actually does that, again, he does that running spear to the outside of the ring, and he actually lands, if you watch that again, he lands straight on his head as soon as he does that spear to the outside ring, and first time I thought to myself, wow, he's going to cripple himself if he does that, so Big E goes for it, he goes to the big end, no shock what happens, Rusev comes back, hits the leg kick, then hits his Padnik super kick, and obviously goes into the camel clutch, which is AKA, I think it's called, I can't remember what he calls it, the accolade or something like that. So he goes into the accolade, and what was funny about this was he tries to fight out of it, and he almost fights out of it. But what's funny about this is that Big E's arms are literally near enough, so close on Rusev's knees. All he had to really do was just move his arms down just a little bit, and then he could have got out of that. So he didn't really position his arms very well in that. But so he gets the accolade in, but obviously he just taps. He just taps out straight away, but he does try and fight it. But it was good to see, and this is the first time in a long while where Rusev did actually generally looked weakened. He did actually look like he didn't have an easy opponent. He almost was beat a couple of times, and it might be good to hopefully see Big E will maybe end Rusev's streak hopefully sometime. So that'd be quite good. Right, moving on. You can discuss next match because I didn't really write any comments about this. So go on, you can discuss this one.
Leave this one, wouldn't you? It's Layla and Summer Rae.
With special guest ref of Fandango.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I thought, you have to understand how I'm saying this. I thought it was okay for what it was. A low card feud, between the divas. It
was an okay match, I will admit. It was quite okay. I mean, both of them are talented wrestlers.
But I mean, it still wasn't particularly a great match, but for what it was, a low card feud thing with, Layla and Summer Rae, just, these kids have something to do. I thought it did its job, you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, it did its job. Yeah, I suppose I'd probably agree with that. Yeah, it did its job.
And it didn't involve Santino, so... Not that it's like Santino, I just mean, at least they didn't have Fandango and Santino in the same bloody, room.
That's true. Sorry, man. I'm just having a bit because it's flipping boiling today, man. I'm sat here with one sock on, literally like I'm hardly wearing anything. Sorry to disturb any of you listeners, but it is really hot in this room, and I just had to take little bit of a time or so because I felt a little bit dizzy. So yeah, but yeah, it did its job. I will admit. I don't know. They've probably having this love triangle for like the last like month or so, and Fandango ends up kissing Summer Rae, and now it's a constant. You know, what does Fandango really want Summer Rae, or does he want like the and they went on and Raw say Layla had fake boobs and like Summer Rae had like long legs and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Wasn't there? It was like a main event or something because on a Raw, Summer Rae covers Layla with milk or something like that, and then
I think that was a Raw ago, wasn't it? I think that was
like
a few Raws ago.
On the main event after that, there's an interview with Summer Rae, and they actually edited what she said. She's like, she said something. By the way, she's a a catty little twat or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Layla attacks her with like kitty litter, and then like
rubs her face in it.
But they actually edited it so she said it was like catty little cat.
Oh, did they? Yeah.
Yeah, which is weird. I mean, I was like, why the fuck would she say catty little twat in the first place? It's weird.
Well, I don't know. They get sometimes Roman Reigns says pissed off, and like they do say the odd swear word like now and again, So they do kind of like slowly but surely get away with it,
Yeah, so my mistake. She didn't say twat. She said twat. Have you ever heard our Americans say twat? It's weird. Twat. And it's like it sounds very posh the way they say it.
Hang on, they're coming.
I wonder if like Bad News Barry could get away with saying twat the English way on TV, on American TV, because they probably won't understand what the fuck he's saying.
Probably not, no. We don't understand what he says half the bloody time anyway, but there we go. So yeah, that match did its job. It was good that it was the match before the main event because I was dying for a whiz, and then I was just like, oh yeah, Fandango also has his kind of like symbol of him going off to the side on the back of his ref t-shirt. So the match doesn't last very long. Fandango gets interested in the move Summer Rae's doing. She almost goes to kiss him, Layla drags her off. They do moves, and then Layla somehow gets the victory of some silly push down, and then basically she gets the win, so that was it. So we move on to our main event, and we're nearly coming into 40 minutes of this podcast, and I'm glad because I've probably got quite a lot to say about this. We're moving to the main event, the Money in the Bank title match, and I've wrote covering my main points in this match. But yeah, it was Sheamus, the person who's going sour on me for a while, versus the best person in WWE right now, versus Bray Wyatt, versus the pretty much dead in the water Del Rio, versus the upcoming Cesaro, versus no one cares about John Cena, versus Randy Orton, upcoming Roman Reigns, and Kane. And without the things, it was Sheamus, Bray Wyatt, Del Rio, Cesaro, John Cena, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, and Kane. Kane was added to the match on Raw the week before. I don't think, did we mention that? I don't know if we mentioned that or not. Yeah, Kane at the end of Raw before Money in the Bank before it was added to the main event, was added to this match at the end. I don't know if we mentioned that. Did we mention that or not? I don't know. I don't think we said that, did we? Hang on, let me just check my notes quickly. Yeah. Oh yeah, so basically, yeah, so Triple H comes out and says there's always a plan B, and then basically introduces Kane. So yeah, so this match was pretty fucking bad, if I'm going to be honest. It was, in my opinion, I'm sorry, you can dislike, you can like, you can argue, you can do whatever with me, you can send me a hate mail on Twitter, do whatever to me. I thought this match was a shambles.
Yeah, and make sure to send it to Raymond's thing, because this is on my YouTube channel as well, so don't give it to my YouTube channel, give it to Raymond. He wants it all, baby.
Oh, you could agree with me that this match was probably pretty bad. Yeah, now, what made this match bad was a few little simple things, and it's going to sound like I'm ranting on, because you know what? I am ranting on, and I'm going for a drink later on tonight, so I can rant on and have my drink and not turn into the Hulk. Hopefully I don't turn into the Hulk later. Yeah, so pretty much. So they put in what pissed me off more was they put in two wrestlers that probably shouldn't have been in there. Okay, first of all, Sheamus should not have been in there because he's already United States champion. So they shouldn't have put in someone with already a title. Same with Bad News. Sorry, I have to agree. I do love Bad News, but he shouldn't have been in there because he's in the Continental champion. So they shouldn't have put Sheamus in there to begin with. Second of all, it shouldn't have been Del Rio. Again, I think Del Rio is pretty much dead in the water now. I think he's boring.
His contract's coming up in July, so I'm guessing they were just giving him one last rub before he goes out the door.
They'll probably... Well, hang on, 2 minutes, let it go down. Yeah, he'll probably just leave because, to be honest, I've not been digging Del Rio for ages. I don't think no one does. Everyone's just sick of him. I'm bored of him. He's like a shot duck in the water. You know, when they took away Ricardo Rodriguez from him, I felt that killed his gimmick a little bit when he stopped doing the cars and everything. I mean, he had his moment. He had his fun in the sun. He had his title runs, you know. He's a good wrestler. I'm not taking anything from him before anyone says. I know Del Rio's back history before anyone tells me. I know where he's come from. You know, I know he's used to wrestle under the mask. I know he's a good wrestler. I'm not denying he's not a good wrestler. I'm just denying that at the moment I don't feel excited whenever I see Alberto Del Rio come out. I'm sorry, that's just who I am. I think a lot of you can agree with me that he's pretty much dead in the water now, and that when they took away Ricardo Rodriguez, they was pretty much taking away his testicles and everything else like that, you know. So that was, so we already had 2 but of course the main eventers, they were trying to, you know, put it in, but I just didn't feel like anyone shined during this match. There wasn't really hardly any spots in this ladder spots. There was a few, but there wasn't very many. Like, it just felt like, you know, a bit like, you know, like, and, I actually mistook something. I'm sorry. I said in the Money in the Bank review, I said there was a ladder pushed in the middle and then balanced out. No, I was wrong. That doesn't happen until this match. There was obviously ladder was sliced in the middle and then it was tipped to one side. Happened in this Money in the Bank, not the Money in the Bank, not the contract one. So sorry about that. So yeah, so I don't know. I just felt this match could have been 50 times more better. Like, Orton ends up bleeding during this match by getting hit in the head with a ladder, and he ends up re-bleeding again later, which was, and he ends up, he have like nine stitches? Hello?
I don't know. Yeah, sorry about that. Technical problems.
Yes, unfortunately, we've had them before and we'll have them again. But like we said, we don't have the best equipment ever. So there we go. So yeah, let's move on. We're moving on. What I was saying was basically, I'm going on to now a little bit of people complaining about John Cena. Now, why were people everyone, I've got one word for you, about everyone moaning about John Cena. Why? Why are you complaining that John Cena won? Pardon my language here, but it was fucking obvious that John Cena was going to win. And let me hear you why. Everyone's saying that Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns and Cesaro should have won it. Yeah. Yes, they would have been a better choice, but think about it. It's too fucking soon for them to win. It's way too soon. If you understand anything about wrestling, you'll know that it's way too soon. So let's go through the people that could have won. So let's say Randy Orton. No, fucking LOL, you know. Alberto Del Rio. Bigger LOL. No, screw that. And there was Kane. Of course, WWE never pushed Kane. You know, he's the authority's bitch right now, so there was no way in hell he was ever going to win. But people say, well, what about Roman Reigns? What about Bray Wyatt? It's too soon, guys. It's way too soon for them to be a... Roman Reigns has just come out of the Shield. He has to prove that he can run solo. Of course I wanted Roman Reigns to win, but it's too soon. Guys, you really need to understand this, you know. A lot of you do, a lot of you don't. You know, a lot of you, like, maybe you younger fans, might not understand that it's too soon. He's just come out of the Shield. He needs to mould himself. He needs to go a little bit more further. Same with Bray Wyatt, you know. He's not really done with the Wyatt family yet. You know, like, they haven't won gold. It's a little bit too soon. Of course they're amazing wrestlers. Yes, I know they are, but it's too soon. Same with Cesaro, a little bit too soon. That's why all three of those was a bit too early to win. Orton, I mean, so it was an obvious thing that John Cena was going to win. You know, Sheamus wasn't going to get it. Kane, Del Rio, Cesaro, no, neither of them. So it was a tie between Cena and Orton.
Yeah.
Hello? You're moving your mic around? Yeah, you are. So it was a tie. So that's why John Cena won. So every one of you, I saw people on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Now, I'm not on Instagram, so, you know, but still, like, I'm pissed off, same old shit from WWE. Did you not know from the second that not only does Cena overcome an overwhelming stretcher match with Kane to get in the match, that he was going to win? If you guys had taken a look at who was in the match first, you would have automatically seen that it was John Cena, because 3 of those people were not ready. 2 of them was no way in hell were they going to... 3 of them was no way in hell were they going to win anyway. So it was a tie between John Cena and Randy Orton. And no offense, I'm not a fan of John Cena, but I would prefer Cena over Randy Orton, because Randy Orton used to make a good champion, but now he really just doesn't make a good champion. So that's why. 3 of them were way too early. So everyone who was pissed off about Reigns and Bray Wyatt didn't win, it's too soon. Reigns needs to mould himself into a singles competitor. You know, that's why. And that's why I got annoyed at people, and that's why I had an argument with someone on Facebook, you know, about him saying, it should have been someone else. Like, no, why? John Cena was the obvious choice, and
was
to be honest,
was that argument with me by any chance? I can't remember.
It was not with you. No, if you want to, if you don't share the same view as me on this, you don't have to.
No, I'm with you on the circumstance. Yeah, it's definitely too soon for some of them and shit. Definitely, without the shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
But goddamn fucking Cena again. Yeah,
I know.
The only reason they put Cena up because of the network fuck up, the stock loss, and all that shit. So basically, they're basically going with Cena because that's the safe option. You know, it was like,
yeah, he's the come-to guy. You know, we've just had our main champion. You know, our really good guy Daniel Bryan. Right, he's lost the belts. Crap, we need to get back on the horse. We need to get back there. So what do we do? Oh yeah, let's just stick it on John Cena because he hasn't had the belts for fucking how long? You know, so they just stick it on John Cena. You know, so he's obviously, yeah, you are right. He's the go-to guy. You know, the person that's just going to slam the belts on, regardless of he didn't earn a title shot. I mean, he's been feuding with Bray Wyatt. I mean, he didn't even really earn the right to go into that Money in the Bank ladder match. Sorry, yeah, go on, send my hate on my way, or you've seen the fans got it. I'm sorry, but he didn't. It comes to a point now where he doesn't need to earn a title shot. He doesn't need to earn it. He can get put in a match just like that. Most people, you have to, call me old-fashioned, but you have to earn your championship match and earn your title run. Because Cena's face of the company, because no one will ever be higher than him, not even Daniel Bryan, not Randall, no one will be higher than John Cena, no one. No one behind him. He doesn't have to earn that title anymore. He can lose. He had the world's most terrible year last year, or 2012, whatever it was, and he still won Superstar of the Year. And even he came out on Raw and said on Raw, why was I voted Superstar of the Year when I basically had the worst year of my life? Because you fans, because most of you Cena fans, or most Cena fans, just vote him because just for being John Cena, you know? Like, I'm not going to go into this because I'm just going to sound like I'm a Cena hater. You know, he's an okay person. I respect the guy. He does a lot for Make-A-Wish Foundation, which I really respect him for. Yeah, sure, he's not there. I just don't like his gimmick. I've never been keen on it. You know, I think he's an okay wrestler. You know, he's got some mic skills. I'll give him that. But I'm sorry, I'm just not a fan of John Cena. You know, I'm just not a overly fan. But I would prefer he won over Randy Orton. So it was obvious.
Strangely enough, with me, towards the end of the match, I was just like, oh, fucking Cena's gonna win. He's like, alright, fuck it. I'll take Orton. Give me Orton. I'll do Orton. Don't fucking do Cena, for fuck's sakes. Please don't have Cena win. Look, it's like, you know, that's when it's to the point. I'm just fucking, you know, ramming fucking John Cena down our throats so goddamn long. It's just like, you know, I'm actually fucking praying for Orton. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's how much I didn't want Cena to fucking have the title. I was just like, come on, just even Orton. At least, yeah, if he healed her, you can do some shit with that, you know.
Yeah.
But then, you know, Cena wins, lol, basically.
Cena wins, lol. I even saw a photo ages ago, like spoiler alert, Cena wins of when Cena had both the titles from an old pay-per-view ago. And to be honest, I kind of knew it was John Cena. There goes my phone again. Troy, please, mate, I'm doing a podcast. Go away. You know, but I mean, like, it comes to a point where I knew it was going to be John Cena because it got leaked a while ago that the SummerSlam poster got leaked, and who's on it? It's Brock Lesnar and John Cena on the SummerSlam poster.
I was about to bring that up to you, yeah. Just fucking, although you know, that basically more or less, well, it didn't necessarily ruin Money in the Bank because...
It didn't say exactly, but we all know that SummerSlam is the second biggest pay-per-view of the pod. We all know that WWE gone non-stop for it. Apparently after SummerSlam, WWE are getting the new logo, apparently, which I think looks like shit, but apparently we're getting the new logo after that. And it was rumoured to report that it was going to be Brock Lesnar and Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam. So Brock Lesnar's part stayed in, obviously Daniel Bryan couldn't. So I saw this poster, John Cena was in it, it looked official. Obviously it could have been photoshopped. I mean, there are a lot of people that do Photoshop posters out there. You can never trust a post you see on the internet unless you see it for yourself, you know what I mean? So but
the problem is, I mean, people said it kind of ruined it because it says John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. It didn't say those two versus each other, it just had those two on the poster. The thing is, there's plenty of posters where people aren't even in the pay-per-view are on the fucking poster. You know, like Hell in a Cell last year had...
Truth.
Yeah, okay, quick, sorry, it's a false
He was even in the promo as well, and he wasn't even in... He didn't even really make the cut. I don't even know what R-Truth was even doing like then, you know? So.
Even back in the day, Vengeance 2002, Austin, you know, he was heavily advertised in the poster for Vengeance 2002, and he walked like 2 months before fucking Vengeance, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
and Vengeance 2001, Triple H was on the poster. He didn't return for another month, you know?
Yeah, good poster that was, but I mean...
So so some people say that it's definitely a spoiler, and then I suppose some people could argue, well, with the proof I've just provided, then it's like it's just random people they put on posters.
Like the video, if you agree with what he just said, because fuck it, I'm going to. Yeah, I think that does raise a very good point, you know.
But unfortunately, I'm with the school of thought that you did kind of ruin Money in the Bank because it's obvious that.
I mean,
I just like to provide the counterpoint because obviously there is one out there. So.
I mean, as far as we know, Daniel Bryan could become better before SummerSlam. WWE want him to come back, and it could be a triple threat. You know, It could be a triple threat. It could be a fatal four-way. It's not necessarily saying it's going to be Brock versus Finn. Now, here's what I'm annoyed again because, like, I think this whole situation with Brock Lesnar, WWE are really undermining this. And how are they undermining it? Well, here's the man who beat The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania. Here's someone who ended a legacy, and I just wish maybe they WWE mention that a bit more, but they don't really mention it, you know, at all. You think Paul Heyman maybe bring it up, but, you know, he never does. You know, like, Brock Lesnar beat the streak. Right now, he probably has the highest prize of WWE this year alone, beating that streak. I don't think John Cena, that even beats Daniel Bryan winning. Sorry, I'm a Daniel Bryan fan and all that, but I think ending that streak was the highest prize this year to win. And Brock Lesnar's still, he's not even really around. Like, he's a part-timer. And he should be, he's a part-timer because he wants to be a part-timer, but just like what the hell? He's like he should be kind of praised a bit more than John Cena should be, realistically, because here's the guy, I mean, we haven't seen him since, I don't know, I can't remember last time we saw that cunt, you know, I really can't remember last time we saw him, but I mean, I think he showed up on Raw and like F5 someone or something, I can't really remember. So he's obviously going to SummerSlam, he's going to go in the title match, you know, like, and everyone's obviously going to be rooting, so this is going to be Cena and Brock for the second time, you know, like, and their match at Extreme Rules, people say was good, well, no offense, but it really wasn't. Did you see their match at Extreme Rules? Was you watching by then?
No, I've not seen it. I mean, I sat down to watch Extreme Rules 2012, but unfortunately, I managed to watch about half it, then I had to go all the way and do other stuff at the time, see, so I missed it. Well, I mean, and then I've just been lazy and not bothered to get around to watching it.
Well, whenever you do come and visit me, in my area that I'm not going to say on this podcast, when you do come and visit me when I move, I've got the DVD, I'll show it to you, I'll lend it to you, because you've got to see that match, you know, or find a quote, another way, quote, to watch it, because it's
on the network, that's what I mean, that's how I sat down to watch it. Yeah.
Oh, is that, you've got the network, haven't you?
I wasn't watching it full time back then, so.
Oh, okay, yeah, well, go back, go on the network, if that pay-per-view's on there, because I don't have, go back and watch it, it's supposed to be this brutal, hardcore match, and straight off the bat, for 10 seconds of even start, Brock Lesnar elbows Cena brutally in the face and busts him open. You know, the match was okay. Like, it wasn't what it was going to be. Everyone was expecting this hurricane of hardcoreness, you know, that Brock Lesnar's just going to completely fuck Cena up, you know, with the stairs and a hammer and a chain and maybe tear off a ring post and hit him with that. You know, like, it was okay. It was an okay match, but even then, John Cena went over. You know, so I would like to think, because ever since Brock's come back, he's not won the titles yet. You know, and it's probably because he's a part-timer. But yeah, they let a part-timer in the biggest prize in history, but they've not let him hold the WWE title. So what if he wins at SummerSlam? What if he beats Bryan or Cena or Roman Reigns, whoever has it by SummerSlam? Will he then become a full-timer? You know, will he then choose to become full-time? If not, then, truth be told, why is Brock even around anymore? Why are they sticking him in these big matches to have these big matches when we know full well he's not going to win, but yet they let him beat the streak? What the hell, WWE? What are you doing? Why is Brock Lesnar truly around if he's only a part-timer? Why has he not gone full-time? Why can't he come back full-time? What is he doing that's so busy that, you know, that he has to come back full-time? Why can't we see Brock back in, like, 2003 Brock? Why can't we see that Brock, you know, anymore? Why? If someone knows, answer on a postcard and send it to 123 Fake Street, or leave us a comment on this video, because I want to know why this fucker can't do full-time. They give him the highest prize in WWE to end the streak, which no one could do, but they can't make him, he doesn't go full-time, and yet he gets slinged into these matches once every month, you know? Yeah. Sorry, I'll be quiet now.
No.
And I see you just sitting back thinking, oh my god, he's off on one again, quick, be quiet.
Well, me, never been a Leicester fan, so, you're just basically preaching to the choir here.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been a Leicester fan either, but I mean, this podcast is about opinions, and I'm finally getting it out. Like, at the end of the day, I'm still pissed the streak got ended, and who they let end it. I'm sorry, I don't think it was the right person, I don't think it should have ended, but we're not going to talk about that. So anyway, let's move back on to Money in the Bank. We've subsided a bit, so we'll move on to the Money in the Bank. It wasn't it was quite a bad match. It didn't really have many light spots during it, any ladder spots during it. It was a few good things towards the end, like Orton pulls Cesaro off and turns it into an RKO and stuff.
Oh yeah,
like
that was classic.
That was quite good. Orton's head hits the ladder, he gets busted open. Kane dominates for a while. Sheamus, Roman Reigns towards the end went crazy, Superman punching, and he flying drop kick Bray Wyatt over the table and stuff. I mean, I think out of all that, I think through the entire host of that match, I think there's only 4 ladder moves at all. I think there's 4 ladders at all. They sandwich Kane in the ladders like they always do when they have two people have 2 ladders and they kind of crush the other one in the middle. Yeah. Kane always they crush Kane with that ladder, and then Bray Wyatt kind of suplexes Cena onto the ladder that was in the middle a little bit later on, and that was really all about it. Bray Wyatt does the spider walking thing again, and if you look at Paul Heyman's face during that match, it was just hilarious, really. Bray pushes them off. So I can't even really talk really much about it. It picked up more towards the end, Bro kick to Cena. Kane comes in, takes more people out. Sheamus climbs a tall ladder in the middle, but Cesaro pulls the ladder in the corner, linking on in the middle so he can walk on it. Roman Reigns dominates pretty much towards the end, making people think that he's going to win and stuff like that, but he doesn't. He comes back. Kane comes back again, demolishing people. Roman stops Orton by bashing his head into the ladder, which rebusts him open, and he falls. Kane then chokeslams Roman off the ladder. Kane holds the ladder for Orton, but Cena comes in, FUs Kane, and FUs Orton onto Roman, who's on the floor, and then Orton wins, and then Cena wins the match, I'm sorry that's not the best descriptive thing of the match. I wrote down pretty much a lot in that match, just for the sake of it, but there was hardly any, good thing.
Oh, yeah. You described it as best you can, which is,
I know, sometimes you can't, sometimes you can't. Yeah, sorry, I was just interrupting you there. Yeah, sometimes you can't, like we said before, sometimes we can't always, call matches the best way. Sometimes, like Royal Rumble, it's hard sometimes to call it like ladder matches. There's always so much going on. We can't be expected to remember everything, you know what I mean? So yeah, that was it. That was it, guys. That was Money in the Bank 2014. We had also the Authority outside the ring, and they were really pissed off that John Cena won, apparently. So yeah, so that was WWE Money in the Bank 2014. We saw a new WWE World Champion. Seth Rollins now holds the briefcase. We didn't get new tag team champions. We didn't get a new Divas champion, and we saw some couple of jobber matches. Overall, I'm giving that a 6.6 out of 10. The same as my co-host gave it to me earlier. He gave a 6 out of 10, and we move forward. Next pod time we meet you will be at Battleground 2014, which I still fucking hate that name, and I still think it sounds like an indie pay-per-view, because it does.
Well, seeing as July, Bring Back Vengeance, or
you keep plugging that near enough 2 podcasts back. You keep plugging that to Bring Back Vengeance.
well, bring back such a thing, yeah.
But yeah, it would be nice. I mean, they did come back, so it would be nice to see it again. So yeah, so that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it for me. That's gonna be it for him. It was an okay pay-per-view. I didn't think it was really worth the £15 it was really paid for. Unfortunately, Battleground is going to be box office, along with SummerSlam. That's going to be box office too. So for people that, for people like me who actually pay for the pay-per-views, and with me moving and stuff, it's gonna be quite tricky paying £15 all the time for this. That's why we need a network, But yeah, still. So we'll go through obviously the main points, but some stuff on the Raw following was actually a really good Raw. We're not going to talk about that, but it was a really, really good Raw. I don't know if you've seen that yet. Have you seen Raw?
I've skimmed through it because what you've told me, because the day after that I was tired, I was pissed off. I was like, fuck this, I'm not watching WWE for a while now.
Yeah.
Like basically, yeah. My reaction was like every other crybaby on the internet, but but on the bright side, I kept it to myself rather than fucking going
took
commenting
to
on
the internet, you know, to like most people would go onto a vlog, you know, and stuff like that.
It's okay to be a big crybaby as long as you don't, annoy other people with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So. Just but I mean, but it was a good Raw. Trust me, it was one of those Raws like after WrestleMania where it kind of the Raw after Money Back made up for Money Back not even being that good because we had a surprise return, which I could say because it was there, but yeah, I'm not gonna fuck it. We'll stick to. We had a surprise return. We had two surprise returns. The belt changed hands. You know, it was good. If you can watch it because it is really good. So yeah, thank you always once again, guys, for listening in. Thank you for taking an hour and a bit out of your day. We're sorry for the technical problems. This is our new thing now. We're going to be covering pay-per-views each time. We thought this was a better angle than what we had last time. I'm sorry if you enjoyed listening to us to talk through Raw and SmackDown, but we might bring that back. Maybe next year or a little bit later, but we think this is a better way to discuss pay-per-views. We think it's easier, and it is easier, really, so, because I've been taking notes for 6 months now, and to be honest, I need a fucking break, from it. So, thank you for listening. If you did enjoy it, please show love to me or on Jack's channel. Please like it, comment it. Well, you don't have to favourite it.
Don't say my real name. It's Pete the Metalhead. Wink, wink.
Pete the Metal. Like it on Pete the Metalhead's channel. Like it on my channel. Just comment if you want. Leave your opinions. We will respond to every comment that's on there on either of our channels. And if this takes off, we might even have a Facebook page running soon enough. So, but that's getting too far. But yeah, please show if you did enjoy. We're not the best people of all time. We don't give the best opinions. We don't host the best podcasts, but we're doing what we like to do: talk about wrestling and put it on a website that's free to watch for other people. You don't have to subscribe. If you are new and you want to subscribe to me or Pete the Metalhead, please do. If you want to like, please do. If you want to comment, please do. We appreciate whatever hate, dislike, whatever you give to us, because we're not needy, we're not famous YouTubers, we don't want views, we don't want likes, we don't want money. Well, yeah, of course we want money, but we don't want that YouTube money, we're not in it, we're in it here because we love wrestling, we're not here because we're trying to make a career out of it, So anyway, this has been me, Pete the Metalhead, we'll see you next time.
LVD Dark Vamp Raven.
Oh yeah, sorry, I introduced yourself in there. Sorry, I've been me over the Dark Vamp Raven. This has been
Wrassle Cast with me, Pete the Metalhead, as well.
Yeah, and me, and we'll see you next time for Battleground. Take care.
Good evening.